Imagine stepping back in time to prehistoric Australia during the Pleistocene epoch, a period that lasted from about 2.6 million to 11,700 years ago. The Australia of this era was vastly different from the arid and sun-scorched continent we recognize today. The land was covered in sprawling forests, expansive wetlands, and lush grasslands, providing the perfect backdrop for an array of colossal animals, known collectively as megafauna. These creatures were unlike anything we see today, massive versions of the marsupials we are familiar with, but blown up to awe-inspiring proportions. This period was a time of giants, when the natural world was teeming with creatures so large and strange that they seem almost mythical. It was a place where kangaroos towered like dinosaurs, and wombats grew to the size of cars. One of the most remarkable inhabitants of this ancient world was Procoptodon, a species of kangaroo that dwarfed even the largest kangaroos alive today. Standing at over 10 feet tall, Procoptodon was a behemoth. This kangaroo didn't hop like its modern relatives. Instead, it lumbered across the landscape on its hind legs, much like a human. With its immense size and long, powerful arms, Procoptodon was uniquely adapted to reach the highest branches of shrubs and trees, feeding on leaves that other animals couldn't access. Its presence would have been awe-inspiring, towering over the grasslands as it moved slowly but deliberately, dominating the landscape with its sheer size. Imagine coming face to face with a kangaroo the height of a house, its large eyes gazing down from above as it grazed on foliage high above the ground. This was Procoptodon, a true giant of the ancient Australian Outback. But Procoptodon was just one of many mega-beasts that called ancient Australia home. Perhaps even more impressive was Diprotodon, the largest marsupial to have ever lived. Resembling an enormous wombat, Diprotodon weighed up to 3 tons, comparable to a small car, and could grow as large as 12 feet long. These creatures roamed the open plains and woodlands of Pleistocene Australia, moving in herds much like today's elephants. Diprotodon's massive size made it an integral part of the ecosystem. As it trudged through the forests, its bulk would have cleared pathways through thick vegetation, allowing other animals to move through the dense underbrush. Additionally, Diprotodon likely played a critical role in seed dispersal as it grazed on leaves and shrubs, helping to shape the landscape over time. Diprotodon's size offered it some protection against predators, but the prehistoric Australian landscape was home to fearsome hunters that posed a serious threat even to these massive herbivores. Among these predators was Thylacoleo, the marsupial lion. While not a true lion, Thylacoleo was one of the deadliest carnivores in prehistoric Australia. It had powerful jaws and sharp, retractable claws that made it an effective hunter. Unlike today's lions, which rely on speed and teamwork to bring down prey, Thylacoleo was likely a solitary ambush predator. It would hide in the thick forests or tall grasslands, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce on an unsuspecting prey animal. With its powerful bite, it could crush bones and incapacitate even large herbivores like Procoptodon or Diprotodon. Imagine this ferocious predator leaping out from the shadows, its razor-sharp claws sinking into the thick hide of its prey as it delivered a fatal bite with its crushing jaws. The Pleistocene Australia in which these mega-beasts lived was a rich and diverse ecosystem, filled with complex interactions between species. Large herbivores like Procoptodon and Diprotodon helped shape the environment by clearing paths through dense vegetation, grazing on plants, and spreading seeds. Their movements through the landscape allowed for the growth of new plant life, which in turn provided food for smaller animals. Meanwhile, the presence of large predators like Thylacoleo helped maintain the balance of the ecosystem by keeping herbivore populations in check. This intricate web of life thrived for thousands of years, with each species playing a critical role in maintaining the health and stability of the environment. However, this delicate balance was not immune to change. During the Pleistocene epoch, the climate of Australia was undergoing significant shifts. The ice ages came and went, bringing periods of cooling followed by warming. Over time, Australia became drier, and the lush forests and wetlands that had once provided abundant resources for the megabeasts began to shrink. The open plains and grasslands expanded, forcing many species to adapt to new conditions. As food sources became scarcer and habitats began to change, some species struggled to survive. The megabeasts, with their large size and specific dietary needs, were particularly vulnerable to these changes. As if the changing climate wasn't enough, a new factor was introduced to the ecosystem: humans. Early indigenous Australians arrived on the continent around 65,000 years ago. Skilled hunters with tools and fire, they spread across the landscape, adapting to its diverse environments. With their arrival, a new chapter in Australia's history began. Indigenous Australians brought with them new challenges for the megabeasts. Hunting likely became a serious pressure on the already struggling populations of large animals. These early humans targeted the massive creatures for food, using fire to clear land and drive animals into areas where they could be more easily hunted. While the extent to which human hunting contributed to the extinction of Australia's megabeasts is still debated, it is clear that their arrival coincided with the disappearance of these giant creatures. Along with the changing climate, the introduction of human hunting likely sealed the fate of many of the Pleistocene megabeasts. By around 46,000 years ago, most of the giant animals, including Procoptodon, Diprotodon, and Thylacoleo, had disappeared from the Australian landscape. Their extinction marked the end of an era, and the once thriving world of giant marsupials and terrifying predators was lost to history. Though these incredible creatures are now extinct, their legacy lives on in the fossil record and in the stories told by indigenous Australians, some of which may recall encounters with the last of the megabeasts. Today, scientists continue to study the bones and remains of these ancient giants, piecing together the story of their lives and their ultimate demise. Fossil sites across Australia, such as the famous Narracorte Caves in South Australia, have yielded incredible discoveries, allowing us to glimpse into this lost world of giants. The study of these creatures not only helps us understand Australia's past, but also provides important insights into the challenges faced by modern species in a changing world. The story of Australia's megabeasts serves as a reminder of the incredible diversity of life that has existed on Earth and the forces, both natural and human, that have shaped the planet's history. Though these massive creatures are no longer with us, their memory endures, reminding us of a time when kangaroos stood taller than houses and the land was ruled by giants.